You're listening to InYourHeadOnline.com, and it's that busy to the jizzy, the D-O-double jizzy, B.G. James. Listen, get it, got it, good.
All right, we are back, and we're joined by Scotty Too Hotty. Welcome to In Your Head.
Hey, man, how are you guys?
Doing good?
Doing good.
Cool. Let everybody know you're going to be February 1st at the UWF show, and that's going to be in Bill Ellis Convention Center in Wilson, North Carolina. And if for more information, like if you want to get tickets and everything, go to uwfusa.com. And you got a match on there versus Caleb Conley. Have you wrestled him before?
I haven't. I'm not even sure. Who he is. You know, I believe he was in Deep South at one point, but I don't know too much about him. So I'm looking forward to it, though, man.
Yeah. Now, I don't want you to get offended here, but like if you were a young guy and like someone said that they had a match with you, back in the day, and like they said I don't really know who he is, who I'm wrestling. Would you be like motivated to like put on a good show to show this guy who you are?
Sure, man. I can remember wrestling Bob Backlund, way back when, I was probably 19 years old, and it's such a privilege, to wrestle somebody like that, and such a, I knew it was a big chance for me, and we had a lot of fun, man.
Do you think that's a good way to learn, is to wrestle like the veterans instead of just wrestling other guys like that are starting out? Sure,
yeah, definitely. I mean, that's the best way, I think, to wrestle guys who've been anywhere, who have done anything, and that's how you learn, man.
Mm-hmm. You're still a young guy. Do you consider yourself a veteran, or do you still consider yourself like learning in the business?
I don't know, man. I feel like I just started the other day.
Right.
I can remember being. I was in high school when I started with WWF, and it seems like it was just the other day when Paul Bearer was saying, tell that guy how old you are. I was 18 years old, and I had just turned 18 the first time I went to WWF. So, man, time flies.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, veteran's a weird word, man.
Right.
it's like the word, if somebody says, are you famous? It's like, or are you a celebrity? It's like those just weird words, I don't know, what's your definition,
Yeah, that's not a good sign if someone just comes up, excuse me, are you famous?
Yeah, well, no, what usually happens is if somebody does recognize you, and they ask for your autograph, and then somebody else says, then they ask you,
right.
But whatever, it's weird either way.
Why would they be asking for an autograph, then?
I think if someone sees them signing the
somebody
autograph.
who is a fan, somebody
right.
who is a wrestling fan knows who you are, and then a bystander sees it happen,
No,
are you famous? No, he's just a big fan of my parking jobs. It was awesome.
You said you were in WWF like when you were still in high school.
Yeah.
Were you on TV then? Like, did anybody in the school see you on TV?
Sure. Yeah. It started to. I didn't really tell anybody at first, and then it started to. People started to find out. People saw me and stuff. So it was cool. Man.
Was it?
Cool,
Were there like a lot of wrestling fans then?
Yeah. I mean, wrestling was kind of in a lull there, so it wasn't as crazy as it was, like 99, 2000 at that time. It was at a low point for the business, I think. So weren't a ton of kids watching.
Mm-hmm. Was that always your dream to get into WWF?
Sure.
WWE?
Yeah, I think anybody who's in this, that's their dream. I mean, sure as hell I'm saying it for the money. It's been those first years.
Right. Was there anybody in particular that, like, you saw and like made you want to be a wrestler?
Sure, Owen Hart and Shawn Michaels were my two biggest influences. I think if you look at some of the stuff I do in the ring, I stole half my stuff from Shawn Michaels. The super kick and the nip up and the flying forearm, and a lot. Man, I stole everything from him. Then the other part of my career when I was wrestling with Scott Taylor, the haircut, the tights, everything, man.
Yeah. Well, those are guys like you kind of like you saw those guys and you thought you don't have to be like a giant to like make it in wrestling.
Yeah, that was the thing. I thought they were small guys, so they were like my role models. I was always a fan of the smaller guys, and I can remember going to WWF that first time, and the first guy I saw when I walked in was Marty Jannetty, and then I saw Shawn Michaels a little while later, and they were both a lot bigger at the time. So it's like, wow, and they're still a lot bigger than I am. But Shawn got smaller over the years, and I always credit him for opening the doors for smaller guys. Just as amazing as he is at what he does in the ring. If it wasn't for him, I don't think you would have ever seen, guys like me or the Hardy Boys or who were actually big guys too. But at the time, we was just all giants, man.
Yeah. A lot of the, whenever I say like a small guy for a wrestler, it's like if you just see those guys, in person, they're pretty big. But if you see them next to Big Show or something, obviously,
right.
We got a caller here. We got Brian Jones on the line.
Hi, is this Scotty Hotty?
Hey, man.
Yep.
Yeah, I had a question. I'm not quite sure if you know the answer to this or at liberty to say, but in your time teaming with Grandmaster Sexy or Sex-A, as he was called, was there an actual ever falling out between Brian Lawler and his father, or is it just the fact that he goes by a different last name, just his way of trying to make it in the business without seeing himself as being, just using nepotism to get by? I mean, is there a reason why, they never acknowledge the fact that it's his son, or I didn't know if you knew or not.
No, I think they know that people know, and then I don't know why he didn't. I think you're probably right. He just didn't want to be riding his father's coattails, and I think everybody knew, especially in Memphis. That's where they're both from, and WWE always joke, the King and JR were always making little jokes. So yeah. Okay. Well, I appreciate you taking my call out there. Thank you very much. Thank you. Sure, man. Take it
Thanks
easy.
for calling in, Brian. Did you guys mesh right away when you guys started tag teaming, you and Brian Christopher?
Yeah, I think so. We're always right on the ring. Even in the ring, even when we were doing the Too Much deal. We always had fun and always doing cool stuff and fun stuff and funny stuff, and and then when the Too Cool thing happened, it just exploded from there. I always said it was always magic when we were in the ring together.
When I saw you live at the Cape Cod Melody tent, you guys were doing the Too Much deal. I don't know if you ever remember wrestling there, but I live near.
Yeah. I think we wrestled the Headbangers there, didn't we?
I think so, and you guys did. I talked about it earlier in the show, and it was like, I don't know how to say this, but the one guy fell down on all fours, and then the other guy fell down behind him, kind of kneeling, and he was kind of dazed. Yeah. That's a hell of a spot.
Yeah. The guys in the back used to love it. It would always be a sellout at the curtain, as they call it, where all the wrestlers gather to see it happen. And just Steve Austin loved it. I always remember him. Standing back there waiting for it. And a lot of times we wouldn't tell our opponents. If there were new guys coming in, we wouldn't tell them what we were doing. We'd just tell them, how to set it up, and then just let us do our thing from there, just to make them laugh.
Mm-hmm. Did you enjoy doing the team more as heels, or did you have was it more fun when you guys turned babyface? Oh,
it was a lot more fun as a babyface. I always have more fun as a babyface, anyways. But of course, everything that happened in 2000 for us was unbelievable.
Mm-hmm. Now, someone would have told you back in the day that you'd be in a tag team with a guy called Grandmaster Sexy, and you'd be Scotty Too Hotty doing the worm, and you'd be tagging with a sumo wrestler, and you guys would all dance. Do you ever think that would actually got over?
Nope. No, I never. I can remember the night they told us they were going to put Rikishi with us, and I was like, man, this sucks. This isn't going to work, And sure enough, that night we went out there, and the first time I knew we had something.
Yeah. Did you ever understood why, or just there is no reason why? Just people reacted to it.
Why it got over?
Yeah.
I think it was just fun, man. I think it was just fun. And at the time there were a lot of just casual fans jumping on board, and they weren't so worried about the technical part, and as much as they are now. It was just wrestling's supposed to be just an escapism and it's just supposed to be fun.
You say about the fans. Do you think sometimes they worry too much about what's going on behind the scenes, or like you said, like maybe like the tactical moves they're doing?
Yeah, sure, man. Like, and I think that the element of surprise has been kind of taken away, with the internet and if a new guy's coming in or whatever, storyline leaks out, it takes away from the whole, like I said, the whole fun of it.
Mm-hmm. Did you have a question from the board, Incher?
Yeah, actually I did. Ryron from our message board, he has a question. He wants to know, did anyone ever refuse to take the worm?
No, actually it was vice versa, really. That when it was at its peak, there were guys were offering to take it and wanted to take it. It was so huge at the time that it wasn't like there's something you had to worry about getting killed on either. So if you have an option to take the superplex or the worm, I'd take the worm.
Right.
Definitely.
Yeah, if everybody could get reactions with moves like that, then you wouldn't need the
sure
450 splashes and all that stuff. Who is this? Who's calling in?
Dustin.
Oh, Dustin. You got a question for Scotty? You tried
yes,
calling in a couple times, so it must be important.
All right. Very pleased to meet you, Scotty.
Hey, man, how are you?
I'm pretty good. Just a couple questions. Why aren't you working for TNA? I know you're in, like, the Orlando area, or at least around it.
Yeah, I'm about half hour door to door. I don't know. I haven't had a lot of talks with them, even though they sent out a text message saying that they were in talks with us. I haven't, I don't know, man. I don't have an answer for you.
All right. One last thing. Do you ever think you're going to go back to the WWE?
Never say never, but, I left on good terms, and I'm happy right now, just being at home with the kids and the family and doing this thing and, working a few shows here and there a month and just kind of moving on, man. I felt like I did what I ever set out to do there, and I don't know what was really left for me. My neck's pretty shot, my back's shot, and I don't know what there would be left to do, really, to go back. I don't really want to work that schedule, man. Those guys are just working crazy dates now. So when I was young and didn't have any kids, it was different. I loved it, and I still love the performing part, but just being away as much as they are now, it would just be too hard with the kids.
Yeah, those wrestlers, they work a crazy schedule.
Yeah.
It's just amazing the kind of hours they pull in.
Sure.
Did you leave on good terms with WWE?
Yeah. They released me, I think, due to the back injury, and then I didn't know how things were. I didn't know. I really don't know why I was released. They told me it was a creative decision, but they didn't have anything for me. But then I was called back for 4 months after my release date for the 15th anniversary. So, I think everything was cool there, man. Everybody was real nice when I went back, and everything's good. And you know how they work, man. You just never know. When your phone could ring. I don't know what I would do though.
Yeah. Thanks for calling in, Dustin. Would you ever like to work there, like if like you couldn't continue in ring on that schedule, like as an agent or anything behind the scenes?
Not really. Those guys, man, they get it from both ends. They get it from the top, and then they get it from the wrestlers too. So I really have no interest in doing that. Something I would be interested in is what's called the business agent, which is they deal more with the building and settling up financially with the building and paying the wrestlers and stuff. And I talked to John Laurinaitis about that a few times. So that's something I might be interested in. Again, I don't know if I want to go back and work that schedule again now. So we'll see what happens.
As you mentioned about your neck and your back, how is it feeling like right now? Your neck?
It feels great, man. Yeah, my neck is unbelievable. It's been 6 years since I had my surgery, and it feels great. Never have any problems with it, really. Nothing that any other wrestler doesn't have in their neck as far as pain. And the lower back, every once in a while, acts up. I was up in Canada this past weekend, and it was about 10 degrees, so that bothered me a little bit. But other than that, man, I'm good.
Was it any one particular like move that when you started getting neck problems, or was it just something that built up over time?
I think it was just over time, man. The first I was blaming it on like the first half of my career, probably before I was even Scotty Too Hotty and had the gimmick. I can remember wrestling at Perry Saturn way back, and we were going through tables then. I was taking pile drivers from him through tables and just doing stupid stuff that I didn't know any better at the time, and all that stuff adds up over time. And besides, everything you do in that ring, man, is whiplash. Whether it's hitting the ropes or taking a bump or going into the corner, you're getting whiplash. You just don't realize it.
Mm-hmm. Like looking back, do you wish you wouldn't have done some of that stuff, like going through the tables?
Sure. Yeah. If I knew then, what I know now, it would definitely be different. And I try to tell guys, I see guys doing that now, and you try to tell them. And I remember when guys used to tell me that, and you think, oh man, he's just jealous. He's just trying to hold me back,
right?
And which they really weren't. They just knew better.
Yeah. I was going to ask you that. Like, do you give advice to the younger guys, or do they ask for advice?
Yeah, no, once in a while, but that's my biggest advice there.
Do you have another? Was in there, Richard?
Yeah. POD from our message board. He actually wants to know which gimmick did you prefer, too much or too cool?
Is that a real question, man? What do you think?
Definitely.
Too cool, probably.
Scott Taylor was never on a video game or an action figure.
or a stuffed worm with a hat.
That's right.
Did you keep any of that stuff, like for like your own collection?
Yeah, I have one of everything probably stuffed away somewhere. I don't know where it is, but it's all packed away from when I moved from Maine.
Do you have any kids? I think you mentioned earlier.
Yeah, I have a boy and a girl, 3 and 6.
Oh, okay. I was wondering if they played with any of the stuff.
Not really, and they don't know. It's funny. I was just talking to somebody about this the other day. As much as The Rock has done and did in the wrestling ring, my daughter only knows him from being on Hannah Montana in the game plan. So it's pretty funny,
Right.
The Big Tiny, he wants to know who taught who how to dance, Rikishi or you?
Oh man, I don't even know if I know how to dance yet. It's horrible. It's just kind of made up on the fly. It's more of a seizure, I think. He's definitely the best. He's definitely the better dancer of the two of us.
Where did the worm where did it get its origin? Was it something you did outside of wrestling, or you just did it?
I started, man. When breakdancing was real big, I was in 5th grade. We used to break up the cardboard at recess and I'll do all that stuff. And I never thought that would be my meal ticket for the rest of my life. But it just started in the ring. There, it started as a joke. I just started doing the worm, and the move itself, and then the WORM came in later, and the who came in after that, and it was it wasn't something that you could really just think up. It just happened, man.
Yeah. You think Lawler added a lot to that too, doing?
Sure.
Yeah.
No, I definitely credit him. He's the one that said WORM the first time, and then I asked him. I heard the playback, and I went and asked him the next day to keep doing it. He did it for about a month, and sure enough, the people were chanting along with it. And then the who, I was just sucking wind at the end of the match there, and I didn't even realize I was doing it, and they started doing that along with me too. So.
People always said when it was still too much, that it was going to build towards you and Brian Christopher getting married, and then they did that with Billy. Was that really where it was going to go, or?
Yeah, no, but it was the first time. That was actually the first day I ever met Stephanie McMahon. It was when Vince pitched that to us, and she was right there, and it was crazy, man.
Were you guys against it, or were you just?
What's that?
Were you guys against it, or were you going to do whatever they want you guys to do?
Well, I was terrified of it, of course, but I was also young and dumb and no kids, and Vince was the heel promoter at the time, so I was like, man, if we go through this, and then a year down the road, we can turn around and say, hey, there's the heel promoter, and he made us do this, and turn babyface, and I had all these scenarios going through my head, and do I do it? What if I don't do it? So I was finally, I said I would do it, and then Brian wouldn't do it. So they scrapped the whole thing, and that's when we got thrown on the back of the bikes with DOA with the pink motorcycle helmets on. So.
Was there a pressure on you guys to do, or do you think they were all right with you guys not doing it.
Well, I mean, they put us on the back of motorcycles,
right?
On the back of bikes with pink motorcycle helmets on. So, you know, that's how they work. You know,
right.
Whatever.
I guess it's better than getting married to them.
Yeah, right.
Were you surprised that like the hip hop hippo that didn't last a little longer?
I know, man. I was disappointed, man. That was a lot of fun. He's a good guy, and he's a good friend, and I wish it had worked out better, you know. And I don't know what happened. I mean, we did the match one night, and the first time we were together, and we came back, and they loved it. And then I think the next week we were in a 6-man on SmackDown or Raw, whatever it was, with Taz as our partner, and then it seemed like after that it was you know, nothing. So you just never know, you know.
I always thought Albert's definitely like a really underrated big man. Doesn't seem like
he's doing well. Yeah, he's doing real well in Japan, man.
Yeah, he never really. I don't know. Never got like the right gimmick or something. I guess.
Yeah, right. Right. He will. He's young. He'll be back. You know, and he'll be huge.
Do you have another question from the board there, Incher?
Yeah, actually, Ryron, he wants to know if you ever thought replacing the worm with the top rope DDT. Like, did you hope?
I don't think I was ever going to replace it. You know, I tried it out a few times. I used to use that on the Indies before I went to WWE, and I think I used it on TV once. But you know, it's hard to replace something that's you've had so much success with. You know, and you know, that's what people know me for. I mean, there's a lot of people who come up to me and they don't even know my name, but they know the other guy that does the worm. You know, so it's once you got something like that, it's hard to get away from it.
Mm-hmm. Extreme Falls, he wants to know, what was it like wrestling Dean Malenko when he first entered the WWE?
Oh, it was great, man. I mean, he taught me a lot, and we had our match in 2000 at Backlash, which people still ask me about all the time. I didn't realize, I guess, what it was when it happened, you know, but years later, that's the match that people always bring up to me. That and the 10-man tag from Dallas from Raw.
Well, let everybody know again that you're going to be at the UWF show. That's February 1st at Bill Ellis Convention Center in Wilson, North Carolina. If you want to get tickets, uwfusa.com. Not only will you see Scotty Too Hotty, but you'll also see Kevin Nash versus Robert Roode and James Storm versus Petey Williams. Battle of the TNA Knockouts, Awesome Kong versus Velvet Sky with special ref Daphne, Monster Abyss, and you'll see a lot more there too. Do you enjoy working for Hermie Sadler? Have you worked for him before?
Oh, he's great, man. If you've never seen one of the shows, then you got to check it out. He's definitely one of the best promoters out there. Runs one of the best shows, you know, and the cards are usually stacked with guys that you know from TV. So you know, like I said, if you've never seen a UWF show, you got to go and check it out. Yeah,
definitely. Like this one's got you, and you got a lot of TNA guys. You got Kevin Nash, and I know like recently they had JBL on the show and Ron Simmons, and it's always like you know, a lot of big stars, and plus you see like some indie guys who you might not know, but you get to see them, you know, do some really good matches. So you get kind of the best of both worlds there.
Yeah, yep. A lot of young guys coming up at Team Action, I think it is, and
yeah,
and those guys are awesome, man. Unbelievable. It's only a matter of time before they're with one of the big companies, no doubt. They're awesome, man.
Is there anybody else like you see on the indie scene you think, you know, these guys are really good or this guy's really good? I'm surprised he's not on TV right now.
Not really. You know, you see a few guys here and there, but it seems like, you know, now with the developmental territories, if anybody's, you know, close to being there, that they scoop them up, you know. But yeah, not really, you know.
When you talk about the Dean Malenko match, were you surprised like they really didn't follow up? Like, you know, that was like such a good match, everybody's talking about it, but like neither you or him really got like a big singles push after that, like on TV. Yeah,
man, we're cruiserweights, so in the WWE they've never gotten a big push. You know, they've always been an afterthought, and I was there for the first light heavyweight tournament, the original one, you know, and I got eliminated by Kane, you know, so go figure, you know.
Right. Do you think that's like they'd be better off not even having that? It's kind of like if you get labeled like a light heavyweight or a cruiserweight, it's kind of like bad in like the wrestling eyes.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it gives guys that size, you know, a spot, you know, and it gives them a job, and you know, I don't even know what's going on now. It doesn't seem like there's a cruiserweight the division even, really. I don't think, you know.
No, I think the last champ was Hornswoggle, and like the belt.
And like I said, it's an afterthought.
Right. Yeah, if you know, I like Hornswoggle and all, but if you lose your belt to a leprechaun, you're probably not
yeah, right.
doing so good.
Right. Magically delicious.
Were you surprised you weren't on TV more? Because like whenever I'd go to like a live Raw, live SmackDown, and like you'd usually be in the dark match, and I mean I said this on the show lots of times, not just because you're here, but you get like a huge reaction every time you come out.
Yeah, it was confusing. You know, I don't know what it was. You know, I don't think I had any enemies there, but you know, I also didn't have anybody who was my guy in my corner. You know, that went to bat for me. So I was always polite to everybody, got along with everybody, but I didn't have that one guy to go to bat for me, and so that might have been what it was. I don't know. You know, nobody's ever told me. Yeah, it's confusing at times, man. You know, you go out there, you get that reaction, and then you come back and go, oh, maybe, you know, I got that good reaction this week, maybe next week they'll do something good with me, and then, you know, you're off. You know, and Funaki's in the dark match, and then we rotate pretty much between the two of us, you know, working with a new guy. So. Yes,
my brother works at a school, at the elementary school, and he was telling some of the kids like you were going to be on this show, and honestly, they were more excited than they were like when we had Jericho on.
Really?
Yeah. They're all huge fans of you and the Worm.
Yeah, I sing better than he does. That's what the problem is.
Was it fun being back on WWE for the 15th anniversary of Raw in the Battle Royal?
Yeah, it was cool, man. It was a special show, I think. You know, and you know, I was on one of the first Monday Night Raws against Ben Bigelow from the old Manhattan Center. So it was cool to be. It was you know, like I said, it's kind of confusing though too. After just being released, you know, 4 months prior to get the call, you know, they called me and I was like, man, what do they want, you know, and that's what it was for that. So it was cool to go back, you know, but if I had to go to the show the next day, I'd probably been stressed out, you know.
Right. Mm. Do you ever do the tag team anymore with Brian Christopher, like on the indie scene?
No, not really.
Oh. Are you against like doing it, or would you be open?
I just think, you know, I'm enjoying doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Doing the single thing, and it's a lot of fun. So I'm just doing this right now, man.
We get a caller here on the line. Who is this?
Alex from Philadelphia.
All right, you're on air with Scotty Too Hotty. Do you have a question?
Yeah, I do. Scotty, you are my favorite wrestler. You're my favorite wrestler, and it's an honor to talk to you. I have two questions. What is your favorite match that you've been in?
Probably like I said, the 10-man tag from Dallas on Raw with it was Too Cool, Rikishi, Mick Foley, and Cactus Jack and The Rock against DX and the Radicals. You know, with Eddie there and Benoit there, and then the New Age Outlaws running in at the end, and Kane coming back, Paul Bearer. So it was cool, man.
And what about singles?
Probably the Dean Malenko match from Backlash.
That's good. Thank you very much, Scotty.
Yeah, sure, thanks for calling in.
And I hope to see you in the Philly area soon.
All right, man. Thanks.
Bye.
I know you have a website, but do you have like a MySpace people can go and check out like where you'll be?
Yeah, it's myspace.com/Scotty Too Hotty Worm.
Cool. We'll put that up on the website so everybody can.
All right, man. Thank you.
Yeah. Do you have any good? We always ask everybody here if they had like a good Rib story or Road story. You want to tell?
Man, I really don't. You know, so I can tell, I guess.
You can just make one up. No. But did you get along like outside of the ring with Brian Christopher?
We're just two different people, man. Yeah. Like I said, we always went our separate ways outside. You know, we didn't hate each other or anything. We just were two different people, and but when we get inside the ring, man, it was magic. You know, it was crazy.
Well, everybody know again, you're going to be UWF February 1st, 2008, which is I think that's what's that tomorrow. The Bill Ellis Convention Center, Wilson, North Carolina. Check it out, WFUSA.com, and that's Friday, not tomorrow.
Friday and Saturday.
Right. Well, depending on when you're listening to this, it's Friday.
That's right.
It could be tomorrow if you're listening to it tomorrow. But anything you want to tell everybody out there? You know why they should come to the show?
Just come check it out, man. Like I said, it's one of the best. It's one of the best shows out there, and you get guys from WWE, WWF, and TNA. It's not too many opportunities to see that. So, and it's a good show, all the way through.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know how he does it, but almost every month he's got WWE guys and TNA guys. You don't get to see that too often. Yeah,
and it's a great show. Some of these shows you go to, man, it seems like it drag on all night. Either after midnight, but he puts on a real professional show, and all good guys working for him. So it's always fun to go in for Hermie.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that's a problem, like on the indie scene? Some of the people want to put like too many matches on the show, or have the show too long.
Definitely, man. That's a huge problem. It's all, they seem to be going for quantity, not quality. And I think 3 matches and then an intermission and another 3 matches is fine. Because shoot for a 2-hour show because you're going to run over, and if you go a little bit over, then that's fine. But people don't want to sit there for too long. I certainly don't want to go to a movie and sit there that long.
Mm. Well, you can also get all the DVDs, too, if you check out uwfusa.com. You want to thank you for coming on tonight?
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, can you keep here for 1 second?
Sure, man.
This is Ron Simmons, and you're listening to InYourHeadOnline.com. Damn!